Good morning, Eastern Oregon. It's January 15th, 2026, and this is AM Live on EOA Live. You can find all of our stuff at EOA.network. You just type that in, it'll take you to a link tree. You'll find our Facebook page, our YouTube, our Roku, our website, everything, all of our content, even Spotify. Here in just a little bit, I'm going to have Dr. Jeb Reid on. He's an orthopedic surgeon and specializes in sports medicine. And him and I are going to be starting up a show in the sports world. And we're going to just kind of talk about it, put some feelers out, hopefully get some feedback from you guys about what you want out of that show. And him and I, we've been talking, we've become friends, and I think it's going to be really fun. He's going to join me after the break, and we're going to do a little bantering and have a little bit of fun. I'm going to jump right into the sports report, so let's do that, Benny. AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit. Magic the Gathering Lorwyn Eclipsed pre-release party is this Friday and Saturday. Return to the land of light and shadow, dare to enter the ever-changing plane of Lorwyn and Shadowmoor, and discover your true self. They have events this Friday at 6 p.m. and Saturday at noon. Come play with the newest Magic the Gathering set, Lorwyn Eclipsed, a week before it's actually released. That's pretty cool. They give out prizes and promos during the event. It's also a great place to meet other Magic the Gathering players in the community. Hobby Habit. 411 Fur in LeGrand, just for the fun of it. So I'm going to use the whole sports show today. As you can see, it's just me today. I'm going to use the whole sports show today to talk about something that I need to handle. Last week on the show, I made some comments about the Pendleton wrestling team and about what transpired, and I kind of jumped the gun on it, and I want to take this opportunity to apologize to the head coach of Pendleton, Trevor Hancock, the Pendleton wrestling team, the school, and the community. I spoke before I knew for sure, and I also said some things that I shouldn't say on a personal level. I called the coach a name. I'm not going to repeat it. You probably already know what I said, but I just want to put out a sincere apology. That's not part of our mission statement here at EOA Live. We want to bring the good to Eastern Oregon, and attacking people personally like that is not what we do, and I was completely out of line. I want to be a role model to athletes and to students, and that's not a way to be a role model to athletes and students, and for that I am sincerely sorry. So, that's the AM Sports Report brought to you by Hobby Habit, just for the fun of it. Benny, let's just roll right into the weather. Let's check this out. So there's the live camera in downtown LeGrand right now. It looks like, it doesn't look very wintry out there to me, really. I mean, it looks kind of like early, spring. But it's January 15th. It's crazy. The weather's been weird. We still have winter coming. We have to. Go ahead and pull that graphic up with the temperatures. 51 today. A low, it's going to drop down below freezing, but if you look at the temperatures, it's crazy. Like 49, 46. It's like early spring, and we still have a couple months of winter left. I'm not complaining at all, though. So I will touch on one more thing about sports while we're here. The boys basketball team, I'm just going to throw this out there. I went to wrestling, middle school wrestling last night because I had to take some pictures of middle school wrestling. And the boys basketball team beat the Dows last night at home. So good job on them. Both the boys and girls basketball team at LeGrand don't play until next Tuesday, and that's Baker here for both teams. That's going to be great. EOU basketball is at home this weekend as well. I think it's Corbin and Bushnell. Don't quote me on that because I didn't. I just wanted to do the whole sports report about the Pendleton stuff. And then I believe tonight at 5:30, EOU men's wrestling in Corbin up at the Queen Coliseum. It's senior night for the wrestling team. So we're gonna take a quick break, and when I come back, we're gonna have Dr. Jeb Reid. Welcome back to AM Live on EOA Live. Dr. Reid, how are you?
Great.
Yeah, I can call you Jeb now because
You can call me Jeb.
Yeah. So we were gonna actually film this and put it out, but the opportunity arose. BC's out, and we didn't have a guest for today. We were gonna do a replay today actually, and I was like, well, why not? Let's do it live, and we can like put some feelers out and see what people want.
Yeah.
We're gonna start. Every few months, or maybe it comes to monthly show, focusing on like sports medicine. Really, I mean that'll be the main focus. But we're gonna talk about a lot of different subjects. We're gonna bring guests on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. How you been? What's new?
I've been great. Falling more and more in love with the valley and exploring different parts of it. Getting out, skiing the Anthony Lakes a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Since we've last talked, you skied Anthony Lakes for the first time, right?
Yeah, I've made it up a few days and got one really great powder day and some beautiful days skiing in the sun. My wife loves it.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere, great community there.
It's always good when the wife loves it.
It's always good when the wife loves it.
Yeah, nothing else really matters.
Yeah, it makes your life wonderful.
Yeah. So what's your like as far as the hill? Like what's is the culture what you expected it would be?
Yeah, I'd heard great things about it, before I made it up there, but it definitely didn't disappoint. The people are like the whole valley. The people are friendly. They're outgoing. They're inviting. They're happy to show you the parts of the mountain that they like.
Yeah.
They'll show you the secret areas, and yeah, it was fun.
I like the part where you're sitting and there's a fire in front of you.
the Star Bottle Saloon does have a good atmosphere for sure. I like the brandings on the wall around the fireplace. And the cowboy hats hanging on the wall. It's got a great atmosphere. For sure.
Don't do outside cold. I'm not a snow person. I mean, I have always wanted to like ice fish. I think that would be interesting, but I would want to do it like in Minnesota where they put those...
The little heated cabin?
You have a TV, you're sitting there playing Xbox waiting for your
wood
kid down
stove,
to... and a real stove, you're cooking up fajitas and fishing, that would be all
fajitas
right.
and fishing.
Yes.
Like you could do a show.
Yeah, walleye, that would be awesome. That would be
walleye
amazing.
fajitas. Yeah.
20 plus years with the U.S. ski team?
Yeah, 20 last year when I traveled last March. Over to Norway was the 21st year I was traveling.
Yeah, what was that like? Benny, let's see some of those pictures of Dr. Reid here.
Yeah, that's France right there. Yeah.
Slow that down just a little bit so we can talk about them.
Yeah, that picture with all the skis was in Portillo, Chile. We were training in the summertime. I'm a lot younger in that picture, but yeah, it was.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, we used to drag the family around with us. Both the kids ski raced, and it was a great experience.
Go ahead,
for
man.
sure.
Where's that?
I think that's Austria. That one.
Wow.
Pretty sure I think that might be Zaukensee or Altenmark, but again, a lot less gray hair back then.
Just cruising the whole world.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, it's still
next
fun.
one. Let's go to the next one, Benny. Who are they?
So yeah, there you go. That right there is Ryan Cochran Siegel to my right and Bryce Bennett to my left, And that picture was just this past March in Norway, and they were
Oh, so
skiing
are you still involved
downhill.
with the ski team?
I am.
Oh,
yeah,
you are? Okay.
yeah. I don't, with this moving this year, I don't know that I'm going to travel in 2026 unless I do it in the fall to the Southern Hemisphere for some training.
Yeah.
But during this World Cup season and this Olympic season, I'm still unpacking boxes in Cove.
Because it is Olympics coming up this,
It is.
this
This
winter.
is an Olympic year. Yeah.
Yeah. Benny, let's see. There should be a couple more here.
Yeah.
Is that? Are you standing in front of a wall?
Yeah, that's one of the trucks. And
Oh, that's a truck.
and
That's cool.
That's a young Lindsey Vaughn who's back at it.
Yeah, there's a picture of you and her in here somewhere.
I think there probably is. Again, with both of us younger,
Bump it.
she's amazing.
There you go.
Yeah, we traveled when she was younger, and when she went through two of her big knee injuries. It was during the time I was traveling with the team more often. Back then, I was traveling probably 3 events a year, and for her to get over those injuries and even to have a partial knee replacement, and she won last weekend. In downhill.
Wow.
Yeah,
She's probably the most recognizable skiing name in history, U.S. wise.
yeah. I think with Michaela Schifrin winning the events Michaela has won, she's built an amazing name for herself.
Gotcha.
But I think that Lindsay, especially over in Europe, she did a lot more branding of herself, and she learned to speak German, so that when she was at the podium,
She could talk to the Germans.
and in Austria and in Italy, Switzerland, a lot of those countries speak German, and so she wouldn't need a translator. And she and Bodie Miller, when back then in the early 2000s, had more TV commercials and agreements and sponsorship in Europe than they did in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you're on these trips, when you're with U.S. Ski Team, are you like operating on people? Like what's
No,
your role?
no,
What are
no,
you doing?
I'm more of an ombudsman. I've got a trauma pack on my back to respond to crashes, but most of the time, especially in places like Switzerland or Austria, or when we're in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand or in Chile, that's where that picture was taken with all the skis. In the summertime, I'm probably the only guy there. But when you're at an event, when you're at a World Cup ski race, there's folks in crampons and got gear, and you're just those courses are water injected, so they take a big fire hose and they turn those race courses into like a hockey rink, so that skis.
So they're fast.
Yeah, they're fast and they don't rut out. They don't develop big ruts because they're so firm. And so the people that are taking care of the person who's tangled up in the netting, are people that are, not with one of the given countries. Each country has a physician there to help out and to jump on the helicopter if needed, and to, make sure that, the athlete is well represented, throughout the treatment of the trauma.
Okay. So it's a little bit different of an audience that pays attention to this morning show than my sports show. So let's go back a little while and just give me you in a nutshell. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be like super elaborate, but just
Sure. Okay. Yeah. That's great. I was born and raised in New England. Go Patriots. Come
on, man.
And I after college moved to Tahoe and worked on the ski patrol and met my wife. We briefly went back to the East Coast to convert a pre-law degree into a pre-med degree, but then realized that we really belonged on the West Coast and moved to Portland and spent 4 years of medical school and 5 years of orthopedic residency at OHSU. Both of our kids were born at Good Sam and are native Oregonians. We did our sports medicine fellowship training in Taos, New Mexico, which is a ski town north of Santa Fe on the Colorado border. And after fellowship training in sports medicine, went back to Portland, practiced in Portland for a little while, and was recruited back to Taos to help develop the fellowship further. So we went from training 2 surgeons per year to training 3 surgeons per year. They would start our fellowship every August 1st and graduate every July 31st.
Oh, wow.
And so over the 15, 16 years I was in Taos, I helped train 41 surgeons that each spent a year with us from America. And then we also had a Japanese visiting fellowship where Japanese surgeons would spend 6 months with us. So
that's cool.
it was cool. It gave us a chance to be involved in academic medicine, to publish, to present, to do some consulting, and to work with the U.S. ski team and work with college teams and high school teams and local professional athletes. And yeah, it was a great sports medicine focused career. After our kids grew and left Taos, the timing was such that my wife's family on the Monterey Peninsula were starting to get older, and she wanted to be closer to them. So we relocated to the Rogue Valley, and we were in Ashland, Oregon, helped take care of the athletes from Mount Shasta, Mount Ashland, had a lot of skiers in our practice. Southern Oregon University, which we won't touch on as much, but spent 5 years.
I mean, you can.
Spent 5 years.
It's part of your story.
Yeah, I spent 5 years taking care of the Raiders.
The Raiders.
And on the sidelines for their teams. And then, with all the changes in medicine and some of the struggles, the corporation for which I was working underwent, and they have unfortunately been closing down the Ashland Hospital. That the fates and the path brought me here, and I couldn't be happier. It's beautiful. The people are amazing. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. It's a great hospital, great clinical team, great OR team, beautiful new operating room suites. Yeah. Some of the prettiest ORs I've ever seen, and just a great, eager team. I think there's a lot of good things that can happen here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and then this area is just gorgeous.
Unbelievable.
Like, it really is.
I've been in Oregon for about 20 years, and it took me a long time to find the most beautiful part of the state, but I finally did. Yeah.
It's crazy. A lot of people don't realize it. Like especially people that were born here and have been here their whole life. They don't realize how, go some other places and you'll
come home
quickly. I call it the black hole.
Yeah.
You might leave for a little while, but you're coming back.
Why wouldn't you? Right? I mean, I think it is. It's physically beautiful. I think about that every morning as I, drive into town from Cove. It's breathtakingly beautiful. But it's also the people. I mean, and more so the people, I think. When you just at an Ace Hardware or a Walmart or a Bi-Mart or Safeway, compared to other Bi-Marts and Walmarts and Ace and Safeways, the people are kind. They're outgoing. They're helpful. They smile at you. They wave to you. They give you the 2-finger wave off the steering wheel driving through Cove.
Yeah,
people acknowledge each other. It's the way it should be.
Do you feel obligated to give it back?
In Taos it was a 1-finger wave.
Oh, is it
but because the back roads around Taos, and Taos is a high desert mountain community, and people wave at each other and are nice to each other. But here it's a 2-way. It's 2-finger wave.
Yeah, it's just a quick one. Too. Do you make the noise when you?
I only if my blue heeler's with me.
Oh, a blue heeler. You have some dogs?
Yep, we got a couple of dogs. We have a rescue dog and a blue heeler. The rescue dog is sort of my wife's dog, and the blue heeler is he declared me to be his human being, and so if I'm not going to work, he goes most places I go.
Just right at your feet.
Yeah, he'd rather hang out in the pickup truck than wait at home.
Yeah, I mean that's good. You got a bite.
It's a great breed. It's a great dog.
They're very loyal dogs.
Super smart, super loyal.
Yep.
A little mischievous. Yeah.
So we're gonna be starting a show about sports medicine. We're in the planning, moving forward phase. Exactly. I would say we don't have a name for it yet, and I mean a lot of this is reaching out to people like right now to see like what they think would be interesting. Right? I mean we have some ideas we want to talk about, like preventative stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
We want to bring on some PAs, or whatever, like physical therapists,
athletic trainers,
anybody, right?
Coaches. Yeah, I think that having people that we can banter with, because I think the banter is going to be very entertaining. But yeah, talking about topics, such as, what's the difference between exercise and training, and how do you continue to maintain, your best performance if that's the goal, and the importance of exercise and getting out there and for your physical health, your mental health, your cognitive, health to help prevent more challenges when you get older. But we can talk about sports-specific injuries. We can talk about innovations and surgical advancements. We can talk about all kinds of different fun stuff. Nutrition, some of the newer orthobiologics, and things like PRP and stem cells. And I think there's tons to banter on. And I think that if we reach out to the the people in the community and hear what they want to hear about and what they want to know about, and we'll I'll figure out a fun way to share information.
To present it, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, this is your guys' opportunity if you're watching. If you have ideas, you can put them in the comments. If you're not comfortable putting them in the comments, email me at kyle@eoalive.tv, and we will tackle like these sports medicine specific topics. And you know what I think would be cool too? I don't think we've talked about this, but I think it would be cool to bring like a sports therapist on the show too. I don't know anybody that just is sports therapy though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anybody that on the mental side.
I agree. I've spent a large part of my career functioning as a sports psychologist.
Sports psychologist.
A huge part of getting back to sports at any level is the mental challenge and the belief and the forgetting about the injury and putting it behind you, and that is often the thing that prevents some elite athletes from ever getting back. And we had a guy that we worked with in Ashland that also worked with the U.S. ski team and helped out at Southern Oregon University. And he was outstanding, but other than him, in my whole career, it's been a part of what I talk with my patients about. And you see young athletes where this injury, this ACL tear, or this shoulder dislocation, or whatever it is sometimes the first real challenge they have in life, the first adversity that they have to overcome. And I think helping them through that and developing coping skills and becoming more gritty and learning how to smile at adversity is a good skill and a big part of that. And if there's somebody local here that enjoys that and does that, I would love to meet them. So have them reach out to us, because I think it is. I think it's important after the injury. I think it's important during the rehabilitation, and I think it's whether there's surgery involved or not. And I think it's important when it's time to get back on the field, or the court, or the hill, or wherever it is.
I mean, I don't personally know, but I know there's quite a few sports psychologists on the west side. I think EOU uses a few of them, actually.
Okay.
They bring them in, but I don't know anybody local. And if there is somebody local and you hear this or you see this, reach out. I mean, we're looking for, what are we looking for? We're looking for physical therapists, possibly student athletes, coaches.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody that's, older, that was an athlete that's gone through some adversity physically. You know what I mean? We're not going to just focus on, sports.
Right.
I mean, yes, but no. It's not going to be like, okay, we're just going to have an EOU student and a LeGrand. No, we're not going to just have an 18-year-old and not just a 65-year-old. We want the gamut, right?
Yeah.
We want to kind of cover everything.
I think it's gonna. I think a lot of the time, as the show, just naturally evolves, I think it's going to be a lot of talking about life through the context of sports and sports injury.
That's exactly what I want. I don't want to sit here and talk about, your patellar tendon goes through your. No, it's more about like how you're, what you're doing to get through and what you're doing to just get back to everyday stuff.
People telling their story. Right, and you have an athlete of any age come and join us, and as we talk about some of the things that have been published or are understood, or current concepts, and get the real person's opinion or experience,
right,
and how I think that the aging athlete, or the aging athlete that remains competitive, is an inspirational individual often.
Heck
and
yeah.
they've been through a lot, and they've had. I mean, can you imagine interviewing someone like Lindsey Vonn, who's had so many surgeries?
40.
And now,
How old? What is she? 40?
she's 41, and
Yeah.
she has won 2 World Cup downhill races this year against a bunch of
18-year-olds.
18, 23-year-olds,
Yeah.
from all over the world.
That's
The best in the
crazy.
world.
That's
Unbelievable.
I also think, though, at the same time, that person that's 65 and wanting to be physically active
Yeah.
and do this stuff, but
Right.
can't get over the hump mentally.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. You have the person who used to enjoy, elk hunting when they were younger, and because of the demands of work and things, hasn't been to the gym every day, and now they're looking at retirement and they want to get back out there. And
Yeah.
I think that helping people realize that it's never too late, and there's a lot of great examples of that. People who sort of had that second life, after the career, where all of a sudden they're blessed with more free time, and there is the ability to progressively get back into shape and to get out in the wilderness, and whether it's climbing and hiking and backpacking in the Eagle Cap, or whether it's exploring. I mean, there's so much to do here. One thing I've definitely realized in my short tenure here is, regardless of how many heartbeats I have left, I am going to have boxes unchecked on to-do list, because there is so much to do that I want to do here that I don't think I would ever have the time to do it all. There's always another cool thing to do.
There is a lot. I mean, anything from mushroom hunting to
Yeah.
picking huckleberries to pheasant hunting,
those like
fishing.
human-powered train, outside of Joseph.
Oh
where-
yeah. I've never done that either.
I got to do that. I mean, there's so many hills to climb. Just how many mountains there are to summit around here is
A ton.
That's gonna be a big list.
Yeah, or getting up to like Clear Lake,
Yeah.
up in the.
Or to explore Hell's Canyon, or to get out in my old truck and drive a
many
long
things.
way between Halfway and Joseph in my old beat-up truck. Yeah. With my dog.
In the old beat up truck, just to get
With
like,
my dog and
Hey.
me. Yeah.
a little bit country.
Yeah.
Get that countryside. So like the premise of the show, we're gonna keep it like very wide. Very wide.
I think,
and it's gonna be. I mean, obviously, there's a little bit of some. I don't want to say guidelines, because we can do whatever we want, really. But at the same time, we want to stay focused on like sports in a sense, not confined to sports like competitively, but like as and then life. I think would be. I like that. I think maybe we should like think about putting life in the title.
Right. I think it is. The sport of life. Right.
Maybe that.
Because we all play that sport. I mean, we all leather.
It's the hardest sport there is,
and we all leather in that sport. And I think that as we we pull up topics, there'll be just a loose foundation upon which to hang the show, and like a coat rack that you put your hat on. But I think we'll tie a little science in there, and
a little personality, a little
science, and then the human experience, right? And see if that rings a bell for people.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it would be fun.
Let's talk a little bit more about you. What, like, as far as like your career, what the hardest thing? Like, what's been the hardest part of it? Like, not personally, but like work wise. What's the hardest part of your job throughout your whole career?
I think that's changed throughout the career. Obviously, the challenge of the work hours during residency, when my kids were young, they were long, and with Emmanuel and OHSU, we were always on level 1 trauma call, and we were working 100, 120 hours a week.
Oh my goodness.
And
Jeez.
Not sleeping a lot, but we were helping a lot of people, and so it was rewarding. You're learning a ton. And the challenges of typically had good things with them. During the earlier part of my career, building and growing and balancing academics with the clinical practice, publishing, the time it takes to write and edit and manuscripts and publish studies, cuts into some family time as well. And and balancing that with still being able to coach Pee Wee football and take my kids to the ski races around southern Colorado. And it was just the juggling. I think they all boil down to time management, and going from the ease of having paper charts and writing quick notes to then dictating and transcribing things to then going into now electronic health records, which for an old guy like me, takes a lot of time. It's just a lot of clicks. Life finds to give you more and more clicks.
Right.
Very, very rarely do you find a path that gives you less clicks.
Right. Do you like it better than writing it all out?
I like the ability to access other information quickly. Right. I like to read what another. Say if I see someone and they've seen a few surgeons and they have some old studies, from years ago.
X-rays or an MRI.
We used to have to take their word for it or chase it down, and it was a lot more laborious. And so that is a benefit to it. I mean, it takes more time to document. It takes more time than dictating in front of the patient like we used to when there were paper charts. But
it takes more time.
It does, but it provides more information. So like anything in life, there's a good and a bad to it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought it would take more time, but like when you think about it, I have watched a doctor sit in front of those check marks. Like they're constantly picking a box.
Right. Basically. So historically, if I had seen you for your knee or your shoulder or whatever, I would have dictated right in front of you. It would have shown you that I heard your story because I'm going to recant your story. I would go through the exam, and then I would go through the plan again, which I'd already discussed with you, and I'd be nodding my head, and it would be redundant, and then I'd walk out of the room, and I didn't have to get in front of a computer and start clicking buttons and going through tabs and things. But then again, it didn't generate anything that anyone outside of our clinic could see. We would carbon copy the note to the primary care provider who was also taking care of the patient.
Right.
And so we were stuffing envelopes. It was those notes were going to primary care providers, snail mail. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, different time.
I mean, you're right in that era of like the transition too.
I was. I remember during my whole training, there was no electronic health records. Right towards the end of my training, we got digitalized X-rays. But before that, they were all hard copy films, and only one existed. And I remember when I was the intern on the neurosurgery service, and I was working like 130, 140 hours a week. I was in-house on call every other night, showing up at 4 a.m, working all day, working all night, going home at 10 or 11 o'clock the next night, only to do it again. But so much of what I had to do, it was just busy work, and I was like, go find all the MRIs or X-rays for these 5 neurosurgeons at OHSU for surgery tomorrow. And some might be in their car, somewhere in their office. They were everywhere
because they were the actual hard copy.
They were. And there was no digital copy.
Gosh! Wow. Okay, so then let's flip the script. What's the most rewarding thing you've done, like in your career, outside of like maybe not necessarily like I fixed somebody's knee, like.
I think it's the gratitude that you receive from people that you've helped, the sense of purpose, and which is, I think, the most important part about this career. It comes in from little humans, and it comes from old humans, and they genuinely they show you affection and care and gratitude that's very real, and that I haven't really encountered in other facets of my life outside my personal family and friends. It's a very rewarding career. It is, and people are grateful, and they'll bring you their sopapilla recipe that they haven't shared with anybody else, or I had this kid that brought me his favorite rock, and I still have that rock on my desk, and if I didn't know the story of that rock, it looked like a very common rock, but it was his favorite rock, and he collected rocks, and
it means something to you.
It
meant
does.
Something to him
because it meant something to him.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
So I take pictures, sports pictures, a lot of them, and it's very similar for me. it's not the cool picture, it's not, 5,000 likes or whatever. It's that one kid cuz I'm an adult for one thing, and for another thing I'm not exactly small. Okay? So for that one kid to work up the courage
Yeah.
to come and tell me how awesome they think
Yeah.
the pictures are and thank me,
Yeah.
that happened to me last night. It doesn't happen very often because I'm kind of intimidating. I'm loud. I'm big. I'm an adult. So the parents, yeah, all the time. But
Yeah.
when the kid works up that courage,
Yeah.
and that happened to me last night, and that's the tip of the iceberg for me. That's the top.
It's the best.
Yeah, it
The
really is.
genuine gratitude.
It really is.
Yeah, it touches you. It does.
So how many surgeries do you think you've done in your career? I mean, we don't obviously have to nail it, but
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. In the peak of my career, I was doing between 450 and 525 a year or so.
Oh my goodness.
And it depends on where you are and the referral patterns and if you're part of we had a busy clinic, and it was a private academic with a good reputation, and we did a lot of things that increased community awareness. But we also had 5 offices around the state, right? We had offices in...
That was when you were in Taos.
When I was in Taos. Our
Yeah.
main office was in Taos, but we were also in Las Vegas, New Mexico, where we had Highlands University and the Cowboys, which was a Division II Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. We had Luna Community College. We had 2 big high schools there. But each of these clinics in Santa Fe, Los Alamos, Raton, they all functioned as hubs for radial arms in all directions. And so our catchment area was really large, and it allowed us in a small town of Taos, where the year-round populations, not including the second homes, is around 7,000 people, and to the whole county year-round is probably 25,000. And it allowed us to have large volume to help, which is required when you're training surgeons. You need volume,
Yeah.
and it was about being well known and we were thought of as part of the communities outside of our own community, because we had a physical presence in those other communities, whether it be at live sporting events or whether it be in clinic or run into people at Walmart or Albertsons or whatever.
Yeah. So if you had to put a number on it, give me a
See, I've been doing it for
guesstimate.
21 years, I guess, out of training, not counting all the surgeries I did in training, or if we want to count the surgeries.
No, count them. Yeah.
My gosh, because I remember one year, my chief year in residency, all I did was operate, and I think I did like 700 or 800 cases that year alone. I don't know, 10 to 12,000. I don't know.
12, yeah. I mean, that's
somewhere.
what.
I mean, I'm guessing. I'm just trying to do quick math.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. It's the most important one is the next one, I guess. Because that's the next person that needs you, and it's your next opportunity to help somebody.
What's the craziest thing that's happened in the ER? In the OR.
In the
the
OR.
operating room, yeah. Like how sometimes you read these stories of somebody leaving a scalpel inside somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without incriminating yourself.
Fortunately, I've never had,
Thank God.
or the watch.
Thank God.
You read about it.
I dropped my Rolex in her leg.
I mean, I think that some of the more fantastical kind of stories come from when you're in residency and training, because when you're in a university setting, a level 1 trauma center, whether it was at OHSU or when I was back at University of Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, or when I was in San Antonio at Bexar County, it was some of those places are like a war zone, right? It's just people lined up in stretchers and
Just waiting to get operated on.
I remember it was I was in San Antonio. I was a 4th-year medical student. I didn't even have my degree yet, and we were doing procedures in the hallway, and the residents are like, you got to stop that from bleeding, and you're all they have, because I'm going here to fix a femur, the other guy's going here to do this, and it's you or nothing, doc. And I'm like, well, not really even a dock yet. It's like so, so it's like sewing stuff up and it just and that was back in the '90s. I'm sure it's a little different now.
Yeah. Like as far as like the surgery and like how much has the equipment changed? It's changed quite a bit,
it's
right?
changed enormously during
Just in your 20 years.
20 to 30 years, depending if you count my training.
I would count the training.
Yeah, counting the training.
Yeah.
It's been I guess 32 years since I started medical school. Especially in arthroscopy and sports medicine, the stuff you can do with the camera through little holes and stuff now, because of the instruments and the implants that we have and techniques that have been developed. Most of the stuff that we're doing with a scope now, we were doing open in my early training, and so I think that it's much less invasive and it's done through little small incisions instead of a big incision.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
So
that's true for I think most of the disciplines.
have you seen that viral TikTok where they show like the origami being made with the two tools?
No.
Is that? Do they really train like that? Because it says this is a orthopedic surgeon training.
Well,
and it's basically like the little like ends of two. What you would use to like suture somebody or whatever.
Yeah, there are a lot of like virtual trainers now, and I think that. And they've also done studies that have shown that people who play a lot of video games and are good at video games have developed arthroscopic skills quicker.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to turn a two-dimensional screen into three-dimensional space in your brain, right? Which I think someone who's good at gaming does. And when you're using the shaver and the camera and you're driving things around with your hands, or you're retrieving suture and you're tying arthroscopic knots. That's what you're doing. You're being able to triangulate right between 2 points, and the screen is flat. But when you're doing the job, the brain doesn't think of the screen as flat.
No,
right?
It thinks of it as three-dimensional.
It has 3-dimensional.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go through a little bit more about you because we're running short on time.
Sounds good.
And then I just want to let everybody know that's watching, like we said once again, if you're watching it now or in the future, if you have some ideas, we'll probably start the show doing it quarterly. We haven't really decided exactly how often. And if you have any ideas or things that you want to see on the show, get a hold of either put it in the comments or email me, Kyle at EOA Live TV. Let's give them just a little bit more about Dr. Reid before we go. Art museum or history museum?
History museum.
Why?
I love history, and I'm colorblind. But
I am too.
Yeah, it's so common. I mean, I love art, and I love photography. I still am an avid photographer, but in my free time, I chew up history. Whether I have a special interest in Civil War history, but also the World War II. I think I'm intrigued from everything from the Lewis and Clark expedition, through the late 1800s. Into World War II as well. Things like the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression in the 1930s. When the 2 years we lived in Washington, D.C., we were blessed because we got to go to the Smithsonian Institute a lot. And I think the Museum of National History is my favorite of the Smithsonian Institute museums. And it's just got it's got pop culture, it's got historic stuff. It's great.
Have you got to meet Dr. Kelly Ryan yet?
I've not.
You need to meet her.
Yeah.
She's the president of EOU. She is a history buff. I mean, she's a history.
You got to introduce me.
I will for sure.
I'm intrigued by.
She's
intrigued
one
by
of my
the history of this area. I think that when I was I grew up in New England. I was born in Boston and understand the history of Boston fairly well. When we were living in Taos, New Mexico, with the Mexican-American War and the Spanish-Indian Wars and all that happened, from the conquistadors of the 1540s coming up. With the Spaniards coming into North America up through the Rio Grande Rift. When I was in Ashland learning about the Oregon Gold Rush in Jacksonville and how Ashland was developed to support the gold rush in the 1850s.
Yep.
Anyone who has a lot of information about how this area developed, why it developed, and why Cove is Cove and Union is Union and North Powder is North Powder, hook me up with the information.
There you go.
I'm dying to learn.
There you
I'm
go.
Dying to learn.
Notebook or notes app?
Notebook.
Yeah. You know I'm a notebook. Like I carry it. I
notebook.
Come to a meeting.
I use my phone notes app only if I don't have, but I carry a little journal with me most places I go.
Yeah, me too.
I think for a couple of reasons. I'm of that generation, but I think it encodes it more into my mind. If I write it on paper, I'm much less likely to need to look at it again, as opposed to if I tap it into my phone.
I agree 100%. It's easier to retain.
It retains more. Yep. Yeah.
Are you an iPhone or an Android dude?
iPhone.
You are. I could tell. I mean, I'm an Android. I could tell you're an iPhone. A lot of doctors are iPhone people, but there's more apps that are doctor friendly.
And I'm not sophisticated enough. I did have back in the day, I had a BlackBerry with the little roller ball that had the entire keyboard on it.
Yeah, I thought I was a baller when I got that thing, man. Yeah.
I was intimidated by the touchscreen. Yeah.
Typing or handwriting?
Oh, I hunt and peck, so I handwrite. I handwrite or dictate. I transcribe a lot. I can just talk.
VC does texting like that, and I can't do it. Like I've tried. I just it feels weird to talking to my phone and I just type it.
Yeah, and I think that we have Dragon now, and we've had Dragon for a few years in medicine, and Dragon, you can drag it into Word documents, you can drag it into medical documents, and you just got to scan it for typos.
Right.
But because some of those can get you into trouble if you're not careful.
Okay, swimming in the ocean or in a pool?
Ocean.
Me too, 100%.
Yeah.
Pie or cake?
Pie.
100% me too. Yeah, for sure. Breakfast or dinner?
Ooh, they're both. I mean,
they sit on the scale like this for me because I love them both.
And it depends, on the event or the day. I mean, like a special breakfast or a special dinner, they're a dead heat. Yeah, that's a photo finish for me.
Yeah, lunch is far behind breakfast.
Not even
dinner
close.
In my book, yeah,
right.
lunch doesn't.
I can't think of many special lunches. Yeah.
Barbecue sauce or ranch?
Not a huge fan of either, but each in the right application. A good barbecue sauce, when you're at a good barbecue joint in Texas or Alabama or somewhere, is pretty good.
You like the vinegary barbecue sauces?
Yeah, I do. I mean, like a Carolina style.
Yes.
Yeah. I do like those. But if it's the right sweet one and the meat's been done, it can't mask how well the meat's been cooked.
No, right? It should never be the star.
It has to be a complimentary player.
100%.
Sure. Yeah.
Have you ever had white barbecue sauce?
Alabama? I have.
Yeah, it's different. They just add mayonnaise to it.
Yeah, it's different.
I mean, it's a little different. What about churros or beignets? Or beignets, how they say it down there.
So we're at Cafe Du Monde in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
You got to go. I'd go beignet. There's a place. Our son.
Wait, you lived in New Mexico as long as you did, and you're going to take a beignet over a churro?
A good churro is amazing.
Oh, dude.
But a good beignet, because a beignet can be done, sweet or savory. There's a blue crab beignet at this one little restaurant in New Orleans near where Tulane is. Our son studied at Tulane a little bit.
Okay, gotcha.
And it was La Petite Grocery. It was an old grocery store.
La Petite Grocery, huh?
And they did this blue crab beignet that was amazing. But wearing a black T-shirt to Cafe Du Monde and having some chicory coffee and keeping
chicory coffee. That's what they serve in prison and jail.
It's what they serve at Cafe Du Monde downtown New Orleans too.
Right. All right, so we'll do a couple more of these, and then we got to get out of here. Visit a new destination every time, or visit your favorite place?
I love both. I with as much time as I have left in life, I'm going to say new destination.
I can answer this one for you. Introvert or extrovert? Duh. You're an extrovert. 100%. You're not an introvert. Yeah, you're an extrovert. Okay, what's your answer to that?
Yeah.
Are you an extrovert or an introvert?
It depends on the event or the environment.
Okay,
that makes sense. There's certain places where I'm quiet.
Planning or spontaneity?
I prefer spontaneity. But I think that at times planned spontaneity is good, or at least having a structure to go on and then just let it unfold. Yeah.
Yeah. Live or excuse me, live without music or live without movies?
Live without movies.
Yeah, 100% for me too. I gotta have music.
Yeah,
That's my last one. Live for today or plan for tomorrow?
Oh, live for today.
All day.
Every
There's
day.
no question. It's like
No,
I'm not even thinking about tomorrow.
That was probably the easiest. You saved the easiest question.
I
for
did.
last.
I did.
You made that's a chip shot.
So, like I said, what we've been talking about. If you have any comments, any suggestions, we're gonna try to what do you think? Get the show out, the first official show out in the next week or so, or a couple weeks.
Yeah, in the next couple weeks.
We would love everybody's feedback, and we're looking for a sports psychologist among other guests. If you're a community member and you've had like some sort of history in sports, or you had an injury and you have questions, or you want to be a guest, reach out. Kyle at eoalive.tv, and it would be awesome.
Yep.
I'll get us out of here real quick. Usually BC says, you want to get us out of here? He's out today, so I'll say, hey, Dodsy, you want to get us out of here? Yeah. On this day, January 15th, 1797, the first top hat was ever worn by John Etherton in London, England. 1870, on this day, the donkey is first used as the symbol of the Democratic Party in Harper's Weekly. 1892, the rules of basketball are first published in Triangle magazine, written by James Naismith. I almost said Namath. 2009, on this day, Chelsea Sullenberger lands U.S. Airlines Flight 1549 on the Hudson River shortly after takeoff from LaGuardia Airport in New York City. All passengers and crew survive what becomes known as the Miracle on the Hudson. The number one song in America on this day in 1996, Boyz II Men and Mariah Carey, One Sweet Day. And the quote of the day comes from Dieter. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. It is your reaction to adversity, not the adversity itself, that determines how your life's story will develop. One more time. It's your reaction to adversity, not the adversity itself, that determines how your life's story will develop. Dr. Reid, thank you.
Great final quote. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
And we'll see you guys Tuesday.